morning, sir. My topic is all about Lord of the Flies by William Golding. Introduction. Lord of the Flies is a novel written by British author William Golding and first published in 1954. Set during an unspecified wartime, the book follows a group of British schoolboys who become stranded on a deserted island after their plane crashes. Initially, attempting to establish order and civilization, the boys gradually descend into savagery, revealing Golding's exploration of human nature, morality, and the veneer of civilization. Influenced by Golding's experiences as a naval officer in World War II, the novel reflects his pessimistic view of mankind's inherent capacity for evil. Despite initially receiving mixed reviews, Lord of the Flies has since become a classic of modern literature, widely studied for its deep symbolic meanings and psychological themes. So, here's the story about Lord of the Flies. In the midst of raging war, a plane evacuating a group of schoolboys from Britain is shot down over a deserted tropical island. Two of the boys, Ralph and Piggy, discover a conch shell on the beach, and Piggy realizes it could be used as a horn to summon the other boys. Once assembled, the boys set about selecting a leader and devising a way to be rescued. They choose Ralph as their leader, and Ralph appoints another boy, Jack, to be in charge of the boys who will hunt food for the entire group. Ralph, Jack, and the other boy, Simon, set off on an expedition to explore the island. When they return, Ralph declares that they must light a signal fire to attract the attention of passing ships. The boys succeed in igniting some dead wood by focusing sunlight through the lenses of Piggy's eyeglasses. However, the boys pay more attention to playing than to monitoring the fire, and the flames quickly engulf the forest. A large swath of dead wood burns out of control, and one of the youngest boys in the group disappears, presumably having burned to death. At first, the boys enjoy their life without grown-ups and spend much of their time splashing in the water and playing games. Ralph, however, complains that they should be maintaining the signal fire and building huts for shelter. The hunters fail in their attempt to catch a wild pig, but their leader, Jack, becomes increasingly preoccupied with the act of hunting. When a ship passes by on the horizon one day, Ralph and Piggy notice, to their horror, that the signal fire, which had been the hunter's responsibility to maintain, has burned out. Furious, Ralph accosts Jack, but the hunter just returned with his first kill, and all the hunters seem gripped with a strange frenzy, reenacting the chase in a kind of wild dance. Piggy criticizes Jack, who hits Piggy across the face. Ralph blows the conch shell and reprimands the boys in a speech intended to restore order. So at the meeting, it quickly becomes clear that some of the boys have started to become afraid. The littlest boys, known as Litlans, have been troubled by nightmares from the beginning, and more boys now believe that there is some sort of beast or monster lurking in the island. The older boys try to convince the others to think rationally, asking where such a monster could possibly hide during the daytime. One of the Litlans suggests that it hides in the sea, a proposition that terrifies the entire group. Not long after the meeting, some military planes engage in a battle high above the island. The boys asleep below do not notice the flashing lights and explosions in the clouds. A parachutist drifts to Earth on a signal fire mountain. Dead. Sam and Eric, the twins responsible for watching the fire at night, while the twins are asleep, prevents them from seeing the parachutist land. When the twins wake up, they see the enormous silhouette of his parachute and hear the strange flapping noises it makes. Thinking a beast has attacked them and that the island is at hand. So they rush back to the camp in terror and report the sighting. The boys organize a hunting expedition to search for the monster. Jack and Ralph, who are increasingly at odds, travel up the mountain. They see the silhouette of the parachute from a distance and think that it looks like a huge deformed ape. The group holds a meeting at which Jack and Ralph tells the others of the sighting. Jack says that Ralph is a coward and that he should be removed from office. But the other boys refuse to vote Ralph out of power. Jack angrily runs away down the beach, calling all the hunters to join him. Ralph rallies the remaining boys to build a new signal fire, this time on the beach rather than on the mountain. So they obey, but before they have finished the task, most of them have slipped away to join Jack. Jack declares himself the leader of the new tribe of hunters and organizes a hunt and a violent ritual slaughter of a saw to solemnize the occasion. So the hunters then decapitate the saw and place its head on a sharpened stake in the jungle as an offering to the beast. Later, encountering the bloody flight-covered head, Simon has a terrible vision, during which it seems to him that the head is speaking. The voice, which he imagines as belonging to the Lord of the Flies, says that Simon will never escape him, for he exists within all men. Simon faints. Simon faints, and then when he wakes up, he goes to the mountain, where he sees the dead parachutist, understanding then that the beast does not exist externally but rather within each individual body or individual boy. So Simon travels to the beach to tell the others what he has seen, but the others are in the midst of a chaotic revelry. Even Ralph and Piggy have joined Jack's feast, and when they see Simon's shadowy figure emerge from the jungle, they fall upon him and kill him with their bare hands and teeth. So the following morning, Ralph and Piggy discuss what they have done. Jack hunters attack them and their few followers, stealing Piggy's glasses in the process. So Ralph's group travels to Jack's stronghold in an attempt to make Jack see reason. But Jack orders Sam and Eric tied up and fights with Ralph. In the ensuing battle, one boy, his name Roger, rolls out a boulder down the mountain, killing Piggy and shattering the conch shell. Ralph barely manages to escape a torrent of spears. So Ralph hides for the rest of the night and the following day while the others hunt him like an animal. Jack has the other boys ignite the forest in order to smoke Ralph out of his hiding place. Ralph stays in the forest, where he discovers and destroys the saw's head. But eventually, he is forced out onto the beach, where he knows the other boys will soon arrive to kill him. Ralph collapses in exhaustion, but when he looks up, he sees a British naval officer stands over him. The officer's ship had noticed the fire raging in the jungle. So the other boys reach the beach and stop in their tracks at the sight of the officer. So lastly, amazed at the spectacle of this group of bloodthirsty, savage children, the officer asks Ralph to explain. Ralph is overwhelmed by the knowledge that he is safe, but thinking about what happened in the island, he begins to weep. The other boys begin to sob as well. The officer turns his back so that the boys can regain their composure. And that would be all. Thank you. Okay, mag-record na ko.